As road trips go, there's nothing like racing across the Great Plains. On those long stretches of highway, you feel like you're on an endless ocean. There's the thrill of those first small hills, the buttes rising out of the prairie dog flats, and winding roads dipping into mysterious canyons as the topography grudgingly gives way to the mountains. Such is the power of the American West. Your constant companion? The puffy clouds, dark grays of summer storms, 1,000 shades of blue, and the fluorescent hues that can end each day. Out here, it's simply called Big Sky Country. And so we've come to Billings, Montana, to rediscover the West, where horse lovers and hunters, bike riders and day trippers have found home.
I think it's pretty great, especially if you love history.
If you're an outdoors person, Montana is your place.
It was here the Lewis and Clark expedition traveled down the Yellowstone River, leaving the only physical trace of the 8,000-mile journey. Nearby, you can visit one of the most historic battlefields in America, Custer's death and the Battle of the Little Bighorn. You'll see old stone buildings, the famous Boot Hill Cemetery, and learn why they call it Boot Hill. Hike among the rim rocks and do a very Montana thing. Get a custom-made cowboy hat where they measure, steam, burn it, and even sand it.
There's real cowboys that are coming in here.
And once a year, Billings becomes the center of the hot air balloon universe.
A lot of early mornings.
They scramble, fire up the fans, flames, then lift off.
It's just absolutely gorgeous. It's such a smooth takeoff.
It's really peaceful.
Here in Montana's largest city, we actually found the spirit of small-town Americana in the history, the stories, and the big sky above.
Our open generators are on.
Okay, line up!
We copy you down, Eagle.
You know this place celebrates its history when just minutes after your plane lands, you can step out of the terminal and walk over to one of the city's key museums.
We're a great place to kind of spend your layovers, but we get a lot of local travel too.
The Yellowstone County Museum is housed in the old cabin of Paul McCormick, one of the early pioneers and ranchers in the state. This place was pretty much a social gathering spot for friends like Theodore Roosevelt, whose signed photo you can see inside.
So he'd have dinners, he'd have dignitaries and various people from around the country visit his cabin.
Here, you get a great view of the town and an old steam-powered locomotive. Billings got its name from Frederick Billings, president of the Northern Pacific Railway in 1869. It's been a rail city ever since. Early rapid growth led to the nickname the Magic City. But before that, freight and passengers came up the Yellowstone River on steam-powered riverboats. The river has always had a dramatic impact on the valley.
One of the distinctive features of Billings is this high cliff that runs across the edge of the town. They call it the Rims.
Others call it the Rim Rocks, old sandstone laid down over 1 million years and carved by the river. A hiking and biking trail runs along miles of the rims, and the views of the city are just stunning. And don't miss a drive up the Zimmerman Trail to really get a sense of this formation that runs along the north side of town. Up here, you find the grave of Luther Sage Yellowstone Kelly. He spent his early years as a hunter, trapper, explorer, and Civil War veteran. He loved this area, and before he died, he wrote, "My body will rest better in Montana." Nearby, you can see the Boot Hill Cemetery, burial ground for the ghost town of Colson. It got its name because many of its occupants were buried with their boots on. East of Billings, you find Pompey's Pillar, a large sandstone hill that gave early pioneers a view up and down the river for miles. Native Americans had come here for 11,000 years, calling it the place where the mountain lion lies. In 1806, on the eastbound journey of the Lewis and Clark expedition, Clark came upon the Tall Butte.
On the return journey, Meriwether Lewis went up to the Marias, and then William Clark and his party came down the Yellowstone. So they passed right by Billings, through the Yellowstone River, and went further east to Pompey's Pillar.
They scrambled up the hill and got a 360-degree view.
This is a very special place where Clark actually carved his name in the rock.
His signature is preserved behind the glass, the only physical evidence that's left from the entire 8,000-mile expedition. You'll see it while taking the hike to the top, where the view is breathtaking. Below, you find examples of the carved canoes the party would have used on the river. The place attracts all sorts of people, including one man who brought a shofar, a ram's horn.
I've been taken to significant places. Sometimes I don't even know they're there, like this one. I just kind of stumble upon them. You know, it's like, okay, this is a significant historical place. And then part of it is the releasing a frequency, and it releases his angelic warriors. It's a call to battle.
To the south, you can visit one of the most famous battlefields in American history. Near Crow Agency, you can drive the ridgeline overlooking the Little Bighorn National Monument. It's here Lakota, Northern Cheyenne, and Arapaho warriors killed General George Custer and some 274 of his men. You can see where retreating soldiers from the 7th Cavalry were buried where they fell.
It's going to take 3 days to travel the 15 miles back to Hardin. The whole time they're thinking, where are those warriors we fought in the last 2 days?
All over the region, you get a real feel of the old days of the frontier life, the vistas, and that big sky feeling. Downtown Billings reflects an old sort of sandstone architecture mixed with the new. The Distillery District and more restaurants have people talking but not forgetting their roots, the Western way.
It's a different lifestyle that not a lot of people in America live anymore.
You really get a feel of the West at Rand's Custom Hats, where for decades they've been keeping the old style of cowboy hat alive.
A down-home feel, it's kind of a comfortable feel for people. The movies.
If they ask you where I am, say I'm in an awful jam.
You know, a lot of us grew up watching the Westerns, whether it's the old John Waynes or whatever it may be, and now the Yellowstones.
Brad Tilden, his family, and employees make the hats from scratch, using 100% beaver pelt to repel water. Hundreds of hats line the wall just to give customers an idea, but everything is custom built. They are not cheap.
Pure beaver start at $900.
And not fast.
8 months or so.
But folks love the results, and watching the process is fascinating, starting with this strange device.
A conformator.
They measure your head exactly.
And then we put that in this, move this around to that exact size and shape, and then that goes in the hat. And we build the hat around it.
They take a raw hat body, do some cutting, then steaming to form the shape before it cools. They hit the hat with burning alcohol to clean it up. Wow. Then actually sand it.
And we start sanding the hat.
Pretty fine though, right?
Yeah.
But taking the time to do all that really sets you apart. I mean, the word of mouth must be big for you.
And people from around the world order hats. And then we keep everybody's conform, and they'll call back a couple years later or whatever it may be and order another hat, and we always have their size and shape.
A true piece of Americana, Montana style.
There's real cowboys that are coming in here, and they'll have 3 or 4 of our hats. They'll have their going to town hat, they'll have their work hat.
It's getting easier.
And then there's the annual tradition of the Big Sky Balloon Rally. From all over the West, they come to fill the sky with color.
And everything gets started really early.
It takes a unique group to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
A lot of early mornings.
Good work. Good work, Kira.
Josh Pallister, family, and friends are prepping for flight. They pull the folded balloon out. The ground crew begins. Then it's off to the pre-flight meeting.
A little tired still from last night, but wow, what a success as far as I'm concerned.
The key are the winds. If they're too strong, no one flies. But on this day, they get a thumbs up. And as the sun comes up, everyone springs into action.
So the propane sits in here. There's liquid and gas propane. Goes up through the pipes, all the way through. Goes through those coils, gets superheated, pressurized. When you pull those handles, it shoots propane through.
So all over, you hear the sounds of pilots and crews testing their burners. That really gets the crowd going.
Everyone gets out and what's the weather like? How's it going to be? And then it's like, okay, let's go, go, go.
They stretch out the balloon, tie it to the basket, fire up the fan. The balloon slowly begins to take shape. In the silhouette, you see the ground crew really scrambling. Josh begins feeding hot air, and it starts to look like a balloon. They bring it upright. Everyone piles in. Around the field, some of the other balloons are lifting off already. And with one more burst, we have liftoff. The feeling aloft, magic.
It's really peaceful.
It's just absolutely gorgeous. It's just such a smooth takeoff. You don't even know that you've left the ground until you look down.
The team below now must follow the balloon for recovery.
So this is him. They go where the wind takes you, and sometimes they can change altitude to get a different wind current, right? So if they're too fast, maybe they go lower and get slower. It all varies. That's where we're headed.
So off they go, chasing down the balloon. Just another day in Billings, Montana, where hot air flyers, history buffs, hikers, bikers, and lovers of the great outdoors, and even the hat makers savor the feeling of small-town Americana in the heart of Big Sky country.